Toro 640 controller's been throwing fault codes since Tuesday, E27. Water pressure sensor malfunction, except the pressure's fine. I've checked it 4 times. 17 years maintaining irrigation systems in the Panhandle. I know when equipment's lying to me and when something's wrong with the water itself. This is the water. I'm at the Rocking T Ranch, 3 miles east of Dalhart, replacing sensors that don't need replacing because Bruce Taggart pays me to fix problems even when I tell him the problem's not what he thinks. The equipment's fine. The aquifer's not. Been dropping 2 feet a year since 2019. This drought's the worst I've seen, and I was here for 11. Dad, you're picking me up at 4, right? Jenna, 13, 8th grade, Martin Middle School. She's got volleyball practice until 3:30 but needs to be at her mom's by 5 because Diane's got her every other week and apparently I can't be trusted to remember the custody schedule even though I've never missed a pickup in 3 years. 4 o'clock, parking lot. I know. Because last time you were late and Mom. I was 15 minutes late because the Simmons pump station flooded. I'll be there at 4. She's quiet for a second. Is the water weird where you are? I straighten up from the controller box. What do you mean weird? At school. Came out reddish this morning. From the fountain. Mrs. Velasquez said it's just sediment from the drought, but nobody wanted to drink it. The controller's showing E27 again. I'm staring at it. Red water. Sediment. The drought's exposed parts of the aquifer that haven't seen air since the Pleistocene. Stuff that's been down there under pressure for 12,000 years. When you drop the water table fast enough, you get mineral deposits, algae blooms, bacterial growth. Usually harmless. Usually. Don't drink the fountain water. Bring your hydro flask tomorrow. I always bring my hydro flask. You're the one who forgets to refill. I'll refill it tonight. I gotta go. I pocket the phone and look at Bruce's western section. 600 acres of feed corn, browning at the edges despite the pivots running 18 hours a day. The soil's showing through in patches. Not regular Panhandle caliche, this stuff's darker. Red dark, like rust or dried blood. Bruce walks over from the equipment barn, squinting against the sun. He's got his coarse cap on backwards and he's carrying 2 bottles of water, the kind from Walmart, not well water. Smart man. You figure it out? Controller's fine. Pressure's low because you're pumping an aquifer that's damn near empty. Can't be empty. County hydrologist said we got 20 years left. County hydrologist gets his data from 2015. Drought wasn't this bad in 2015. I take the water bottle. It's already warm. You seeing that red sediment in your lines? His face changes. Yeah, started Monday. Thought it was rust from the old pipes, but I checked, the sediment's coming up from below. It's in the groundwater. Jenna said the school fountains are running red. Feedlot off Highway 87 reported the same thing. Cattle won't drink it. Bruce spits into the dust. Never seen cows' refuse water before. The wind's picking up. West wind, hot and dry, carrying that smell. Dust and something else. Something organic, like old mushrooms or wet cardboard left in the sun. The red patches in Bruce's field are bigger than they were Tuesday. They're spreading. My phone buzzes. Text from Diane. Jenna says water's bad at school. Is this drought thing serious? I type back, just sediment. She's fine. Picking her up at 4. Bruce is looking at his field, at the red patches spreading like infection through the corn rows. You ever seen soil turn that color? Hematite, iron oxide. It's in the bedrock under the aquifer. Drought's exposing it. It wasn't there last week. He's right. Last week this section was normal caliche tan. Now it's rust red in spreading circles, like someone spilled paint and it's bleeding outward through the dirt. The corn planted in the red zones looks stunted. Yellowish. Wrong. The wind gusts harder. One of the red patches, about 10 feet across, the surface crust cracks. Fine red dust lifts off it, swirling in the wind. It looks like smoke. It drifts across the field toward us, maybe 60 yards away. "That's just dust," Bruce says, but he's backing up toward his truck. I'm backing up too. Something about that dust doesn't look right. It's too fine, too uniform. It doesn't behave like normal dust. It's staying together in a coherent cloud instead of dispersing, like it's got weight to it, like it's alive. My phone rings. School. Martin Middle School on the caller ID. "Mr. Pritchett? This is Yolanda Reyes, the school nurse. We've got a situation with some students showing respiratory symptoms. Jenna's fine, but I'm calling all parents as a precaution. We're asking that students bring bottled water tomorrow and avoid the drinking fountains until we get the water tested." "What kind of respiratory symptoms?" "Coughing, shortness of breath. Could be allergies. The dust count's extremely high, but 3 students went home early. It's probably nothing." The red dust cloud is still drifting across Bruce's field. It's closer now, maybe 40 yards. The wind's blowing it straight toward the access road where my truck's parked. I'm picking Jenna up early. I'll be there in 20 minutes. "Mr. Pritchett, school policy says." 20 minutes. I hang up and start walking fast toward my truck. Bruce is already in his engine running. The dust clouds between me and the road now. 30 yards. 25. It's moving faster than the wind should push it. I pull my shirt up over my nose and mouth and cut left, wide around the cloud. My boots kick up regular dust. The red cloud drifts past my truck, crosses the access road, and spreads out into the bar ditch. Where it settles, the ground turns dark. I get in my truck and lock the doors. Habit. Stupid habit, because dust doesn't care about locks. I'm pulling onto Farm Road 281 when I notice my hands. There's red dust on them, on my forearms. I was 50 feet from that cloud, but somehow it got on me anyway. Fine powder, almost too fine to see individually, but in aggregate it looks like I've been spray painted with rust. I'm doing 70 on a 55 road. Dalhart's 12 minutes away. The school's on the south side. Jenna finishes class at 3:10, which means she's walking between buildings right now, breathing whatever's in the air, drinking from fountains that run red. The radio's on KXIT, the local station. Weather report says air quality alert due to high particulate matter. Stay indoors if possible. Dust storm warning until 7 p.m. Dust storm, right? Normal dust storm. Except I've lived through 100 panhandle dust storms and none of them ever made the cattle refuse water. None of them ever spread in coherent clouds that moved wrong. My phone buzzes. Text from Bruce. "Get your daughter. Get out of town. That wasn't normal." I'm already doing 80. The sky ahead is wrong. There's a haze building on the horizon, low and red, like the dust is rising from the ground instead of blowing in from somewhere else. The sun's still up. It's only 2:47, but the light's filtering weird through the haze. Everything looks rust-colored, biblical. I pass the Simmons feedlot. The cattle are packed against the north fence line, as far from the water troughs as they can get. Some of them are lying down. Wrong. Cattle don't lie down in the afternoon heat unless they're sick or dying. 8 minutes to town. 7. My hands are still covered in that red dust and I realize I'm white-knuckling the steering wheel. I need to wash my hands. Soon. But first, Jenna. The radio crackles. Emergency broadcast signal. I've heard this twice in my life, once for a tornado, once for a chemical spill at the fertilizer plant. The automated voice says, "Emergency alert. Red sand contamination. Respiratory hazard. Remain indoors until wind dies down." Red sand. They have a name for it already. They have a name for it, which means this isn't the first time. Which means someone's been studying this. Which means they knew. Dalhart's water tower is visible now. The big white tank with Dalhart painted in blue letters. Except the tank's not white anymore. It's streaked with red. long vertical stains running down from the top like rust or dried blood. The town uses well water, same aquifer, same red sediment. Everyone's been drinking it. Everyone including Jenna. I'm doing 90 on residential streets. Martin Middle School is ahead, one-story brick building, built in '94, structurally sound, big windows for natural light. South wing has the gym where Jenna has volleyball. North wing has the cafeteria where she eats lunch at 11:45, where they serve tap water in plastic cups. The parking lot's full. Cars everywhere. Other parents having the same thought. Get the kids. Get out. Now. I'm out of the truck before it's fully stopped, not bothering to lock it, running toward the main entrance. The doors are propped open, unusual, and there's a teacher I don't recognize standing outside wearing a dust mask. Sir, we're asking parents to remain in their vehicles. Jenna Pritchett, 8th grade. Where is she? The teacher checks a clipboard. Last period should be Mrs. Hong's science class. Building C. I'm already moving. Building C is across the courtyard. The courtyard is open air. The dust is everywhere now, fine red powder coating the sidewalks, the planters, the metal benches. It's on every surface. It's in the air. Kids are still walking between buildings. Dozens of them. Some are coughing. One girl's sitting on a bench with her head between her knees, and her friend is rubbing her back, and there's red dust all over both of them. Building C. Room 112. Mrs. Hong's Earth Science. I can see the room number from here. Through the window, I can see students at lab tables. I can see Jenna. She's at her desk, second row from the door, and she's fine. She's taking notes. She's completely fine. Then she coughs. It's a normal cough. Just one. She covers her mouth with her hand and goes back to taking notes. Then she coughs again. Harder. She's holding her chest. I'm at the door. Mrs. Hong looks up, startled. Sir, you need to check in at. Jenna, we're leaving. Jenna looks up. Her eyes are watering. Dad, I'm fine. It's just, she coughs again. This time she doesn't stop. It's a deep cough, wet sounding, wrong. Other kids are backing away from her. I'm across the room in 3 steps. I grab her backpack with one hand and her arm with the other. She's still coughing. There's something in her palm, red dust. From her mouth. From inside her lungs. We need to go. Right now. She's crying and coughing at the same time. Mrs. Hong is saying something about procedure, but I'm not listening. I'm carrying Jenna's backpack and half dragging her toward the door because she can't breathe right, and I need to get her out of this building, out of this town, somewhere with clean air. The hallway, the courtyard, the parking lot, my truck. I'm putting her in the passenger seat and her coughing is getting worse, and there's red dust on her lips, in her hair, all over her uniform shirt. I'm starting the engine when I notice my reflection in the rearview mirror. There's red dust under my fingernails. On my neck. In the corner of my right eye. I was at Bruce's field 2 hours ago. I breathed it. Not much, just a little, but I breathed it. And Jenna's been at school all day, drinking fountain water, breathing courtyard air, and now she's coughing up red dust, and I don't know what that means, but the cattle wouldn't drink the water, and now some of them are lying down dying, and... Dad. Jenna's voice is small, scared. Dad, I can't breathe right. I'm driving, north on Highway 87, away from town, toward Amarillo, toward the hospital, toward somewhere with answers. My phone's ringing. Diane probably wondering where Jenna is, but I don't answer. The sun's setting early, filtered through the red haze. The sky looks like it's bleeding. Behind us, Dalhart is disappearing into the dust. The Amarillo ER waiting room smells like disinfectant and fear. Jenna's still coughing, less now but wet, and there are 19 other people here showing the same symptoms. Red dust around their mouths, red-rimmed eyes, that deep rattle in their chests. We've been waiting 47 minutes. Mr. Pritchett? A nurse finally, wearing an N95 mask and latex gloves. Not the flimsy surgical masks they usually wear, the serious ones. Exam room 3. The doctor's young, maybe 30. Dr. Patel according to her badge. She's also masked and gloved, and she won't get within 6 feet of Jenna. When did symptoms start? Around 3 p.m. The school. She was fine this morning. Dr. Patel types into her tablet. Has she been outside today? Near dusty areas. She's in Dalhart. Everything's dusty. I mean specifically near the red sediment, the hematite deposits. I stop. You know what this is. She doesn't look up from her tablet. We've had 15 admissions in the last 3 hours, all presenting with the same symptoms: respiratory distress, rust-colored sputum, exposure to red dust. What's causing it? We don't know yet. Could be fungal spores, bacteria, chemical irritation from the mineral content. We're running cultures and sending samples to the CDC. The CDC, they're already involved, which means this isn't new, which means someone's been tracking this. How do I get it out of her lungs? Dr. Patel finally looks at me. We're administering bronchodilators and corticosteroids to reduce inflammation. If it's an infection, antibiotics. If it's fungal, antifungals. Right now, we're treating symptoms until we know more. Until you know more. Jenna's sitting on the exam table, pale, breathing shallow. How long until you know more? CDC says 24 to 48 hours for preliminary results. I'm staring at her. You've already sent samples to the CDC. Before we got here, this has been happening longer than 3 hours. She hesitates. First cases showed up Monday for patients from the Simmons feedlot. We thought it was occupational exposure, something in the cattle feed. But now we're seeing it across the county. Monday. It's Wednesday. They've known for 2 days and nobody said anything. No alerts, no warnings. Nothing until that emergency broadcast an hour ago. What happened to the feedlot patients? They're in ICU, intubated. Jenna makes a small noise. I reach for her hand and she grabs onto me hard enough that it hurts. I need you to be straight with me, I say. Is she going to be okay? Dr. Patel doesn't answer right away, which is an answer itself. We're doing everything we can. The chest x-rays show significant particulate matter in the lungs, but her O2 saturation is stable at 94%. We'll admit her for observation and respiratory therapy. I'm not staying overnight. Jenna's voice is hoarse. Dad, I can't. I have a history test tomorrow and Mom's expecting me at. She starts coughing again. This time there's blood mixed with the red dust. Not much, just flecks, but it's blood. Dr. Patel calls for a nurse immediately. 2 of them come in with a gurney and an oxygen tank. They're moving fast. Too fast. Jenna's crying and reaching for me, and I'm trying to follow, but Dr. Patel blocks me. We need to intubate. The airway's compromising. She was fine an hour ago. The particulate matter is causing rapid alveolar inflammation. It's progressive. We need to act now. They're wheeling her toward ICU and I'm following, but a security guard steps in front of me. Older guy, maybe 60, and he looks apologetic but firm. Sir, family's not allowed in ICU during active intubation. There's a waiting area on the 2nd floor. Someone will update you as soon as. That's my daughter. I understand. 2nd floor. Someone will find you. He's not moving. I could push past him. I've got 40 pounds on him easy, but that doesn't help Jenna. So I go to the 2nd floor waiting area and I sit in a plastic chair that's bolted to the floor and I stare at my hands. There's still red dust under my fingernails, on my forearms, in the creases of my palms. My phone's been buzzing for 20 minutes. I finally look at it. 17 missed calls from Diane. 6 texts. The last one says, "Where is Jenna? I'm calling the police." I call her back. "Where the hell have you been? Jenna's school said you pulled her out early and she's at Northwest Texas Hospital in Amarillo. I see you. They're intubating her." Silence on the line. Then, what happened? The dust. The red dust from the drought. She breathed it at school and it's doing something to her lungs. There are 15 other patients here with the same thing. "I'm leaving Lubbock now. I'll be there in 2 hours. Diane, just don't. I told you that school wasn't safe with the water problems. I told you we should have pulled her out this week, but you said it was fine. You said it was just sediment. I didn't know. You're supposed to know. You work with the water. That's your job." She hangs up. She's right. It is my job. I maintain irrigation systems for half the panhandle. I see the aquifer reports, the mineral content analyses, the drought projections. I should have known something was wrong when the sensors started throwing false codes Monday. When the water started running red Tuesday. When Bruce's cattle refused to drink this morning. I should have kept Jenna home today. My phone rings again. Bruce Taggart. "You see the news? I'm at the hospital. Jenna's in ICU. Christ. I'm sorry. Listen, you need to hear this. Turn on Channel 7. I find a TV in the waiting room. Local news. The anchor's wearing a mask. On screen is drone footage of Dalhart. The entire town is covered in red haze. You can barely see the buildings. Emergency declaration for Dalham County as the red sand phenomenon continues to spread. Officials from FEMA and the CDC have established a mobile command center at Dalhart Municipal Airport. Residents are urged to remain indoors with windows sealed until further notice. The National Guard has been deployed to distribute bottled water and respirators. The National Guard, FEMA, CDC, for a dust storm. The feed cuts to a CDC official, older woman, gray hair, standing in front of a trailer with the FEMA logo. Dr. Linda Ortiz, according to the Chiron. "We want to assure the public that we're taking this situation seriously. The organism causing respiratory symptoms is a previously unknown species of extremophile bacteria, dormant in the Ogallala aquifer for approximately 12,000 years. Recent drought conditions have exposed these deposits to air, activating the bacteria." Bacteria, Bruce's voice in my ear. "They're calling it bacteria now. This morning it was sediment. This afternoon it's a respiratory hazard. Now it's bacteria that's been down there since the Ice Age." On screen, a reporter asks, "When did the CDC first become aware of this organism?" Dr. Ortiz hesitates. "Just for a second. We've been monitoring dormant bacterial deposits in the Ogallala aquifer since 2019 as part of our drought impact assessment program. However, we did not anticipate the rapid activation and dispersal rate observed in the current outbreak. Since 2019, they've known about this for 6 years. They knew. I'm saying it out loud. They knew it was down there." Bruce says, "Keep watching." The reporter presses, "If you've been monitoring since 2019, why was no warning issued to local residents?" The deposits were assessed as low risk provided they remained submerged. The current drought exceeded all projection models. We're working with state and federal agencies to. The feed cuts to the anchor. We're now receiving reports that Highway 87 and Highway 385 have been closed by the National Guard, establishing a quarantine perimeter around Dalham County. Residents attempting to leave are being turned back and instructed to proceed to designated shelter locations. I'm already standing. They're quarantining the county. Can't let it spread, Bruce says. Makes sense if it's contagious. You're in Amarillo, right? You're outside the zone. Jenna's intubated. Jesus, I'm sorry. My nephew's at the feedlot. He was one of the Monday cases. He's not doing good. The bacteria, it's not just in their lungs. It's in their blood. They did scans. The silica, that's what they're calling it, silica particulates. It's crystallizing in the blood vessels. I'm staring at my hands, the red dust under my nails, in my palm creases. How long between exposure and symptoms? My nephew started coughing about 6 hours after his shift. By midnight, he couldn't breathe. They intubated him at 3 a.m. Monday. It's Wednesday and they're saying he might not make it. 6 hours for symptoms. Jenna was exposed all day, breathing it, drinking it in the fountain water. That was 12 hours ago. The bacteria's in her lungs now, in her bloodstream, crystallizing, turning her blood into glass. Bruce, I gotta go. I hang up and I'm walking fast toward the ICU. The security guard from earlier steps in front of me again. Sir, they're still working on. How long have you known? I'm not yelling, but I want to. The CDC said they've been monitoring this since 2019. That's 6 years. 6 years of watching this bacteria sitting down there, knowing a bad drought could expose it, and they did nothing. No warnings, no evacuation plans, nothing. Sir, I just work security. They knew. I'm saying it too loud. Other people in the waiting room are looking at me. They knew this could happen and they let us keep living there. Let us send our kids to schools that pump contaminated water. Let us breathe air full of 12,000-year-old bacteria because what? It was low risk. The security guard's hand is on his radio. He's about to call for backup. A nurse appears, different one from before. Mr. Pritchett? Your daughter's stable. The intubation was successful. You can see her, but only for a few minutes. I follow her through 2 sets of double doors. The ICU is cold and bright. Jenna's in bed 3. There's a breathing tube down her throat. Monitors everywhere. Her skin looks pale, gray. There are red patches on her arms, visible through the thin hospital gown, like bruises but darker, like the bacteria's spreading under her skin. I pull a chair next to her bed and I hold her hand and it feels wrong. Too cold, too stiff, like her body's already changing. Dr. Patel comes in wearing full protective gear now, gown, gloves, face shield. We're seeing unusual readings in her blood work. Elevated silica levels. The bacteria appears to be metabolizing iron from the hemoglobin and replacing it with silicon dioxide. In English, it's turning her blood into sand. I'm staring at Jenna's hand in mine, at the red patches spreading up her arm. How do you stop it? We're trying chelation therapy to bind the silica, antibiotics to kill the bacteria, dialysis to filter her blood. Nothing's working. The bacteria is resistant, adaptive. It's unlike anything we've seen. Because it's been dormant for 12,000 years. Yes. And the CDC knew it was down there. Dr. Patel doesn't answer, which is answer enough. How many cases now? In Amarillo, 43 admissions. Dallam County reported over 300 before communications went down. 300. In a town of 8,000. I can't do the math. My brain won't work. I'm staring at Jenna's pale face, at the tube breathing for her, at the monitors showing her heart rate at 124, oxygen saturation dropping to 91%. What's the survival rate? We don't have enough data yet. Guess. She looks at me for a long moment. Of the Monday cases, we've lost 2. 3 are critical. 1 has shown slight improvement. 1 out of 6. Those are bad odds. Those are terrible odds. How long until we know if she'll? The monitor alarms. Jenna's O2 sat is dropping. 89%. 87%. Dr. Patel calls for the crash cart, and suddenly there are 5 people in the room and I'm being pushed back, toward the door. Sir, you need to wait outside. I'm watching them work on my daughter, adjusting ventilator settings, injecting medications, running blood tests. The monitor says 83%, then 81%. Her lips are turning blue-gray. The security guard has his hand on my arm, gently pulling me toward the door. She was fine this morning, I say. Nobody's listening. She had toast for breakfast. She complained about her history teacher. She was completely fine. The door closes between us. I'm in the hallway. There's a window showing into the ICU. I can see Jenna's bed, see the doctors working, see the monitors. 80%. My phone rings. I don't recognize the number, but I answer anyway. Mr. Pritchett? This is Agent William Carson, CDC Emergency Response. I understand your daughter was exposed to the red sand organism. I need to ask you some questions about the timeline and location of exposure. She's dying. I understand this is difficult, but we need to track potential spread vectors. You pulled her from Martin Middle School at approximately 2:47 p.m. Where did you go immediately after? I drove to Amarillo. Did you stop anywhere? Gas stations? Stores? Restaurants? No. Did you come into contact with anyone outside your immediate family? I'm thinking about Bruce, about the school nurse, about Mrs. Hong, about the security guard whose arm is still gripping mine. Why? You were exposed at the Rocking Tea Ranch approximately 12:15 p.m. today. He pauses, calculating 8 hours ago. You should be symptomatic by now. I look down at my hands. The red dust is still there, under my nails, in my palm creases, on my forearms. I'm not coughing. Mr. Pritchett? I'm fine. No symptoms. Another pause. Longer this time. We need you to come to the FEMA Command Center at Dalhart Municipal Airport immediately. Do not interact with anyone else. Drive directly there. Do you understand? My daughter's in ICU. Mr. Pritchett, if you were exposed 8 hours ago and are not showing symptoms, you may have natural immunity to the organism. That makes you extremely valuable to our research efforts. We need to run tests. Now. Through the window, I can see Jenna's monitor. 78%. I'm not leaving her. If we can use your antibodies to develop a treatment, you could save her life. And everyone else infected. The monitor says 77%. Dr. Patel comes out of the ICU, pulling off her face shield. We've stabilized her for now, but her condition is deteriorating. The next 12 hours are critical. Agent Carson's voice in my ear. Mr. Pritchett, we have a helicopter standing by. We can have you in Dalhart in 30 minutes, run the necessary tests, and return you to Amarillo within 6 hours. Your daughter will still be in the ICU when you return. If she's still alive, he doesn't say, but we both know that's what he means. If I have immunity, can you make a cure? Possibly. It depends on the mechanism of resistance, but we won't know until we test you. Through the window, Jenna's monitor says 76%. I need a guarantee. If I help you, if you can make a cure, she gets it first. Mr. Pritchett. That's the deal. She gets it first or I don't come. Silence on the line. I can hear him conferring with someone in the background. Then, agreed. She'll be first priority once we synthesize treatment. I look at Dr. Patel. If her condition changes, you call me immediately. Of course. I'm walking toward the exit, past the waiting room where other families are sitting, waiting for news about their own kids, their own parents, their own spouses, past the security guard who's still watching me like I might be dangerous. Maybe I am dangerous. If I'm immune, if I'm carrying antibodies, I'm the most dangerous person in this hospital. I'm either the cure or I'm patient zero for whatever comes next. Outside, the sky's turning dark. The sun's behind the dust cloud now, filtering red through the haze. A Black Hawk helicopter sits in the hospital parking lot, rotors already spinning. A man in a hazmat suit waves me toward it. I'm climbing into the helicopter and they're strapping me in and we're lifting off, and below me I can see Amarillo spreading out, lights coming on as evening falls, and beyond that the red haze covering the panhandle like a shroud. Somewhere down there, Jenna's oxygen saturation is at 75%, maybe 74%, and dropping. Somewhere down there, 300 people in Dalhart are coughing up red dust. Somewhere down there, the CDC has known about this for 6 years and did nothing. The helicopter banks east, toward Dalhart, toward Ground Zero. The pilot's voice crackles over the headset. ETA 22 minutes. I close my eyes and see Jenna's face. This morning at breakfast, complaining about her history teacher. Completely fine. Completely alive. That was 12 hours ago. The FEMA Command Center at Dalhart Municipal Airport is a cluster of trailers and military vehicles surrounded by razor wire. The helicopter lands on a marked pad next to what used to be the maintenance hangar. 3 people in hazmat suits meet me before the rotors stop spinning. Mr. Pritchett, I'm Agent Carson. We spoke on the phone. This way, please. They walk me into a decontamination tent. Strip down, chemical shower, new clothes that smell like plastic. Then through another tent into a mobile medical lab. Equipment everywhere. Centrifuges, microscopes, refrigeration units humming. 6 technicians working at different stations, all in protective gear. Dr. Ortiz is here, the CDC woman from the news. She's older up close, maybe 60, and she looks like she hasn't slept in 3 days. Mr. Pritchett, thank you for coming. We're going to draw blood, run some respiratory cultures, do a full workup. This should take about 90 minutes. You said 6 hours total. That was before we knew you'd been exposed 8 hours ago. If you truly have immunity, we need to move faster. The mortality rate is... She stops herself. What's the mortality rate? She exchanges a look with Agent Carson. Of the 4 patients admitted Monday, 3 died this morning. The 4th is in multi-organ failure. 3 out of 4 dead. Bruce's nephew. Those feedlot workers who just came to work Monday morning, normal day, and now they're dead because they breathed air in the wrong place at the wrong time. How many infected in Dalhart? Last count was 472 confirmed cases. But communications with the quarantine zone went down 2 hours ago. We're estimating closer to 1,000 now. 1,000 out of 8,000. No, I'm not doing that math. I can't. A technician approaches with collection tubes and needles. Sir, I need to draw about 40 milliliters. This might take a few minutes. I watch the blood flow into the tubes. It's red, normal red. Not crystallizing, not turning to sand. Whatever immunity I have, it's keeping the bacteria from metabolizing my hemoglobin the way it's metabolizing Jenna's. Why me? I asked Dr. Ortiz. Why am I immune? We don't know yet. Could be genetic. Could be previous exposure to a related organism that provided cross-immunity. Could be blood type. We're seeing some correlation with type O negative, but the data's still preliminary. I'm O positive. Then it's not blood type. She's typing on a tablet. Tell me about your work. You maintain irrigation systems. For 17 years. Wells, pumps, pivots, everything. So you've had extensive contact with groundwater from the Ogallala aquifer. Every day. She nods like this confirms something. The bacteria has been dormant down there for 12,000 years. But dormant doesn't mean dead. Periodic exposure to trace amounts, too small to cause infection, might have allowed your immune system to develop antibodies gradually. But other people work with the water. Other irrigation techs, well drillers, ranchers. How many other techs in Dallam County? I think about it. 3 full-time. maybe 6 part-time. We need their names. If they have similar immunity profiles, we might be able to synthesize enough antibodies to start treatment within 12 hours. 12 hours. Jenna's got maybe that long, maybe less. I'm giving them names: Pete Hubbard, Frank Delgado, Travis Yoon, when Agent Carson's radio crackles. A voice says something I can't make out, but his face changes. When? He asks. Then, how many? Then, Jesus Christ. He looks at Dr. Ortiz. The quarantine's failing. National Guard reported personnel showing symptoms. They're pulling back to a secondary perimeter. What does that mean? It means the bacteria is spreading faster than we projected. It's not just airborne anymore. It's in the water table, in the soil, in every surface the dust has settled on. The guard was wearing respirators, but it's getting through. Probably contact transmission through skin exposure. I look down at my hands. I scrub them in the decontamination shower, but there are still traces of red dust under my nails. 8 hours of exposure. The bacteria's in my system, has to be, but my immune system is fighting it off. How long until you can make a treatment from my blood? Dr. Ortiz is doing calculations on her tablet. With your antibodies, we can potentially create an immunotherapy treatment. But production takes time. Even with emergency protocols, we're looking at 18 to 24 hours for the first doses. You said 12 hours. That was optimistic. I'm sorry. Jenna doesn't have 24 hours. She barely has 12. What if you give her my blood directly? Transfusion. My antibodies straight into her system. That's not standard protocol. The antibodies would be diluted, the efficacy uncertain. But it might work. She hesitates. It might buy time, keep her stable while we develop the synthesized treatment. But there are risks: transfusion reactions, volume overload, immune complications. She's dying now. What's the risk compared to that? Agent Carson's phone rings. He answers, listens, his face getting paler. Understood. Yes, sir. I'll tell them. He hangs up and looks at us. FEMA's ordering full evacuation of Dallam County. Everyone, residents, National Guard, CDC personnel. The organism's spread rate is exceeding all containment models. They're pulling out. They're abandoning 1,000 infected people? I'm standing now, the blood draw forgotten. They're just leaving them there? They don't have a choice. If the spread's beyond Dallam County, if it reaches Amarillo, Lubbock, the I-40 corridor, we're looking at regional catastrophe. They're establishing a hard perimeter at the county line. Nobody gets out. My daughter's in Amarillo. She's already out. Amarillo's in the secondary quarantine zone as of... He checks his phone. 43 minutes ago. Potter County is now under mandatory shelter-in-place. All highways are blocked. Dr. Ortiz is typing rapidly on her tablet. If we evacuate now, we lose the lab setup, the centrifuges, everything we need to synthesize treatment. We need at least 6 more hours here. We don't have 6 hours, Agent Carson says. The order is immediate evacuation. Helicopters leaving in 20 minutes with or without us. I'm looking at both of them. Where's the helicopter going? Lubbock. They're setting up a new command center outside the potential spread zone. How far is Lubbock from Amarillo? 120 miles. Jenna's in Amarillo, dying, and they want to take me 120 miles in the wrong direction so they can spend 24 hours making a treatment that might not work while she's got maybe 12 hours left. I'm not going to Lubbock. Mr. Pritchett, you don't understand. You're the only confirmed immunity case we have. You're irreplaceable to the research effort. I'm going back to Amarillo, to the hospital. You can have all the blood you want, but I'm giving it to my daughter first. Dr. Ortiz steps closer. If you go back to Amarillo, you're stuck there. The quarantine is absolute. No one's getting out until we know the spread is contained. That could be days. Weeks. Then I'm stuck there. But I'm not leaving Jenna. Agent Carson's radio crackles again. Another voice, more urgent this time. All personnel to evac zone. Repeat, immediate evacuation. Dalhart perimeter has been breached. Organism detected in Texlin and Stratford. Expanding secondary containment to... The radio cuts to static. Through the trailer wall I can hear shouting. Engines starting. The helicopter's rotors spinning up. That's our ride, Agent Carson says. We need to go now. I'm not getting on that helicopter unless it's going to Amarillo. It's not. Final evac from Amarillo is in. He checks his phone again. 90 minutes. After that, the city's sealed. Dr. Ortiz grabs my arm. Not rough, but firm. Mr. Pritchett, listen to me. If you die in that quarantine zone, we lose our only chance at developing effective treatment. Your daughter dies. Everyone in Dallam County dies. Everyone in Amarillo dies. Is that what you want? I want my daughter to live. Then help us save her. Come to Lubbock. Let us synthesize the antibodies. We can airlift treatment into the quarantine zone once it's ready. Once it's ready. 24 hours. She's got 12. We might be able to expedite. You said 24 hours was the absolute minimum. I heard you. The shouting outside is louder now. Someone's running past the trailer. The helicopter's rotor wash is shaking the walls. Agent Carson's phone rings again. He answers, listens for 5 seconds, then, copy that. He looks at me. The hospital in Amarillo just reported 15 more admissions. Critical condition. They're running out of ventilators. He pauses. Your daughter's status hasn't changed. She's still at 74% oxygen saturation. 74%. Holding steady. Maybe she's got more time than I thought. Maybe 12 hours is enough. Maybe if I go to Lubbock, let them work fast, they can make the treatment and get it back to her before. My phone rings. Dr. Patel. Mr. Pritchett, there's been a development. Your daughter's condition has worsened. We're seeing crystallization in her peripheral blood vessels. Her extremities are showing signs of... She pauses. Structural change. We need to discuss options. What kind of structural change? Her fingers, toes. The tissue is hardening. The bacteria is replacing cellular structure with silicon dioxide. She's... Mr. Pritchett, parts of her body are turning to sand. I can't breathe. Can't think. How long? It's progressing rapidly. We're trying everything we can, but nothing's slowing it down. I'm sorry. You should come back. Soon. The line goes dead. I'm looking at Agent Carson, at Dr. Ortiz, at the technician still holding blood collection tubes. I need that helicopter to take me to Amarillo, right now. It's going to Lubbock, Agent Carson says. Those are my orders. Then I'll drive. The highways are blocked. National Guard has orders to turn back anyone trying to enter the secondary quarantine zone. I'll go around them, through ranch roads. I know every back road in this county. Dr. Ortiz is still holding my arm. If you leave now, we lose you. We lose the only chance at developing treatment for everyone else. Everyone else isn't my daughter. No, but she's someone's daughter, and someone's son, and someone's mother. 400 people in this trailer's range who could be saved if you just... My daughter is turning into sand. I'm pulling away from her. Right now, while we're standing here talking, parts of her body are crystallizing because I brought her to school this morning instead of keeping her home. Because I didn't know the water was contaminated. Because the CDC has known about this bacteria for 6 years and never warned anyone. She flinches. We were monitoring. You were monitoring. That's all you did. Monitor and take notes and wait for it to happen. Well, it happened. and my daughter is dying because you monitored instead of warned. I'm walking toward the exit. Agent Carson steps in front of me. Mr. Pritchett, I can't let you leave. You gonna shoot me? I'm the only immune case you've got. You need me alive. I'll detain you. For your own safety and for the research program. Behind him, through the trailer window, I can see the helicopter. Rotors at full speed. People climbing aboard. The last evacuation out of ground zero. I could fight him, maybe win, but that wastes time I don't have. Jenna's 60 miles away and getting farther every second they argue with me. How long until the next helicopter? There is no next helicopter. This is the final evac. So that's it. Either I get on that helicopter to Lubbock and let them spend 24 hours making treatment while Jenna dies in 12, or I stay here in Dalhart with no transportation and no way to reach her. Or, my truck, where is it? Still at the hospital in Amarillo, I assume. No, my work truck. I drove it to Bruce Taggart's ranch this morning. The Rocking T, 3 miles east on Farm Road 281. Keys are in it. Agent Carson's face changes. You're not thinking. That ranch is 2 miles outside the current quarantine perimeter. If I can get there before the National Guard expands the line. They expanded it 20 minutes ago. The Rocking T is inside the zone. Then I'll cut through it, drive fast, get to Amarillo before they seal the city. Dr. Ortiz grabs both my arms now. You'll die. The bacteria concentration in Dalhart the air is saturated with it. 10 minutes of exposure at current levels is lethal for anyone without immunity. But I have immunity. You think you have immunity. We haven't confirmed the mechanism. We don't know if it's permanent or temporary. We don't know if high concentration exposure will overwhelm your immune system. You could walk into that town and drop dead in 5 minutes. The helicopter outside is starting to lift off. Last chance to get on. Last chance to save 400 people by sacrificing 12 hours that Jenna doesn't have. I look at Agent Carson. Are you going to stop me? He doesn't answer for a long moment. Then, if you die out there, that's on you. We tried to save you. I'm not trying to save me. I'm trying to save my daughter. I push past him through the trailer door into the Dalhart night. The air hits me like a wall. Red dust everywhere, thick enough to taste. My lungs seize for a second. Pure panic response. Then I force myself to breathe. The dust fills my mouth, coats my throat. I'm waiting for the cough, for the blood, for the crystallization to start. Nothing happens. Behind me, Dr. Ortiz is shouting something, but the helicopter's too loud. It's 50 feet up now, banking west toward Lubbock, toward safety, toward research labs and time I don't have. I start walking east, toward town, toward the red haze, toward Bruce's ranch and my truck and the 60 miles of quarantine zone between me and Jenna. The dust is so thick I can barely see 10 feet ahead. Streetlights are on, but they just turn the dust into glowing red fog. No one's outside, no cars moving. The whole town is sealed in their homes, waiting to die or be rescued, and neither one's coming. I can hear coughing, through walls, through windows, wet, rattling coughs. Hundreds of them. 1,000 people coughing themselves to death while the CDC evacuates and the National Guard pulls back and the government establishes perimeters and containment zones and abandons everyone inside them. My phone rings. Diane, where are you? The hospital says you left. They're evacuating. They say I need to take Jenna somewhere, but they won't tell me where and... They're evacuating the hospital? Final transport leaves in an hour. They're taking critical patients to Lubbock. But Jenna's not stable enough to move. They say the transport would kill her. So they're leaving her here with minimal staff and... Her voice breaks. They're leaving her to die. I'm coming back. I'll be there in 90 minutes. You can't. The highways are closed. I tried to drive in and they turned me back at gunpoint. The guard says no one enters Amarillo until the quarantine is lifted. I'm not asking permission. I hang up. 60 miles to Amarillo. 90 minutes if I drive fast and the roads are clear and the National Guard doesn't shoot me. Jenna's oxygen saturation was 74% 30 minutes ago. Her fingers are turning to sand. I start running. Bruce's ranch is dark when I get there. The house windows are boarded up. My truck's still in the driveway where I left it 9 hours ago. Keys in the ignition. Tanks 3/4 full. Enough to make Amarillo if I don't hit roadblocks. The red dust is everywhere. On the truck hood, the windshield, the door handles. I brush it off, but more settles immediately. The air's thick with it. Every breath tastes like rust and dirt. I start the engine and pull onto Farm Road 281. Headlights cut through the red fog about 20 feet before disappearing. I'm doing 60 on a road I normally take at 45 because I know every curve, every cattle guard, every place the asphalt's cracked and buckled from the heat. 10 miles in, I pass a National Guard checkpoint. It's abandoned. 2 Humvees parked sideways across the road with the doors hanging open. No soldiers, just empty vehicles and red dust settling on everything. They left. Everyone left, just like Dr. Ortiz said they would. Establish perimeters and pull back and let it burn itself out inside the containment zone. My phone rings. Unknown number. I answer anyway. Mr. Pritchett, this is Dr. Ortiz. Don't hang up. I'm driving. I know. We're tracking your phone. Listen to me, we just got preliminary results from your blood work. Your immunity isn't permanent. It's active resistance. Your immune system is fighting the bacteria in real time, but the bacterial load you're being exposed to right now is overwhelming. Your antibody levels are dropping. You have maybe 6 hours before your immunity fails completely. 6 hours. Jenna's got less than that. Then I better drive fast. You're not listening. If your immunity fails while you're in the quarantine zone, you'll die just like everyone else. Suffocation, crystallization, all of it. We need you to turn around. Come back to the perimeter. We'll extract you and... My daughter is turning into sand. Parts of her body are already crystallized. You want me to leave her there while you spend 24 hours making treatment she won't live to receive. If you die, we can't make the treatment at all. No one survives. Not your daughter. Not the 1,000 people in Dallam County. Not the hundreds in Amarillo. You're condemning all of them because you won't. I hang up. She calls back immediately. I turn the phone off. Highway 87 is worse. There are cars abandoned in both lanes. People tried to evacuate east toward Amarillo and didn't make it. Some doors are open. Some aren't. I don't look inside as I weave around them. I don't want to see what's left. The red dust is building up on my windshield faster than the wipers can clear it. I'm driving half blind. Navigation from memory more than sight. The feed store on the left. The old Dairy Queen that closed in '09. The turnoff for the cemetery where my dad's buried. My chest hurts. Just a little. A tightness that wasn't there an hour ago. Maybe Dr. Ortiz is right. Maybe my immunity is failing. Maybe I've got 6 hours, maybe less. But Jenna's got even less than that, and I'm the only person with antibodies in my blood that might keep her alive long enough for them to synthesize real treatment. If I turn around now, she dies for certain. If I keep going, maybe we both die, but at least I tried. That's not even a choice. Amarillo city limits. Population 200,622 according to the sign. Or it was before today. Now who knows? The streets are empty. Not just empty, abandoned. Cars stopped in intersections. Streetlights still working but nothing moving under them. Store windows dark. A few houses with lights on but curtains drawn. I pass a school. Emma's age would go here, no, wrong school, wrong district. I don't know Amarillo well enough. Just the hospital. Northwest Texas Healthcare. North Loop 335 and Coulter Street. My phone turns itself back on. Immediately it starts ringing. I ignore it. The hospital's ahead. I can see the sign, but there are military vehicles blocking the entrance. Not abandoned, active. 3 Humvees and a deuce-and-a-half truck. Soldiers in full MOPP suits standing guard. I slow down. There's no way around them. The parking lot's fenced. 1 entrance, 1 exit, both blocked. A soldier steps into the road. He's got an M4 rifle across his chest. He's waving me to stop. I stop, engine still running. He approaches the driver's side window. I roll it down. Red dust swirls in immediately. Sir, this facility is under quarantine lockdown. No unauthorized entry. My daughter's inside. ICU. She's dying. I understand that's difficult, but we have orders. No one enters without CDC authorization. I have authorization. Agent Carson, Dr. Ortiz. They'll tell you. Sir, I'm going to need you to turn your vehicle around and exit the area. Through the windshield, I can see the hospital. 4th floor. ICU is on the 4th floor. Jenna's up there right now, her fingers crystallizing, her blood turning to sand, and this kid with a rifle is telling me I can't go to her. I'm immune. I've been exposed for 9 hours. No symptoms. My blood has antibodies that can save her. The soldier's expression doesn't change behind his gas mask. That's above my pay grade, sir. Turn the vehicle around. No. Sir, I will use force if necessary. Then use it. Shoot me. But I'm going to that hospital. He doesn't move. We're both just standing here, him with his rifle, me with my foot on the brake. Both of us knowing this is stupid, but neither one backing down. His radio crackles. A voice says, "Let him through." The soldier touches his radio. Sir, orders were. I know the orders. Let him through. He's the immunity case. CDC wants him inside. The soldier steps back, waves to the others. They move the Humvees just enough for me to squeeze through. I pull into the hospital parking lot. My hands are shaking on the steering wheel. The tightness in my chest is worse. I'm coughing now just once, twice, but it's starting. I get out of the truck and I'm running toward the entrance and my legs feel wrong. Heavy, stiff, like the bacteria's already working through my system, crystallizing the blood in my muscles. Dr. Ortiz was right. My immunity is failing. 6 hours, she said. Maybe less. Maybe I've got 3 hours. Maybe 1. The hospital lobby is chaos. People everywhere. Patients, families, staff, all coughing. Red dust on every surface. The air filtration system's running, but it can't keep up. The whole building is contaminated. I find the elevator. Press 4. The doors close and I'm alone, and I'm looking at my reflection in the metal doors. There's red dust around my eyes, my lips, in my hair. I look like I've been spray painted. The elevator opens on the 4th floor. ICU is straight ahead. Dr. Patel is at the nurse's station. She's wearing a respirator now, full face mask. She sees me and her eyes go wide. Mr. Pritchett, you came back. Where is she? Bed 3. But you need to. I'm already past her, through the double doors, past the other ICU beds where other people's daughters and sons and wives and husbands are dying, to bed 3. Jenna. She's there, the breathing tubes still in, monitors still beeping, but her hands are wrong. They're not hands anymore, not completely. Her fingers are crystallized from the tips down to the first knuckle, hard, translucent, red-tinted like rose quartz. The crystallization is spreading up her palms. I can see it under her skin, dark red veins that aren't veins anymore. They're silica deposits replacing her blood vessels, turning her circulatory system into stone. Her face is still her face. Still Jenna. Still my daughter. But her fingers are glass and her palms are hardening, and the monitors say her oxygen saturation is at 68% and falling. I grab her hand without thinking. The crystallized fingers feel cold. Smooth, like touching a sculpture. Like she's already not alive. But her palm is still warm where the skin hasn't hardened yet. Still soft. Still her. Jenna, baby, I'm here. Her eyes open. Just a little. She can't talk with the tube in, but she sees me. Recognizes me. Her good hand, the left one, still mostly flesh, squeezes mine. Dr. Patel is behind me. The crystallization accelerated in the last hour. It's spreading through her extremities into her core. Once it reaches her heart or lungs. I have antibodies. In my blood. We can do a transfusion. Right now. Mr. Pritchett, we don't have time to cross-match, to screen for compatibility to... She's O positive. I'm O positive. That's compatible enough. Do it now. She's looking at me, Jenna, at the monitors showing 67%. I'll need to get approval from... She'll be dead before you get approval. You know it. I know it. Just do it. Dr. Patel makes a decision. Come with me. She takes me to a treatment room, sits me in a chair, starts prepping equipment with shaking hands because she knows this is against protocol, against every safety regulation, but she's doing it anyway because sometimes protocol means watching a 13-year-old girl turn to stone. I can take 1 unit, maybe 2. That's all that's safe. Take 4. You'll go into hypovolemic shock. Take 4. Whatever's in my blood that's keeping me alive, she needs it more than I do. She's inserting the needle in my arm and I'm watching the blood flow into the collection bag and I'm thinking, this blood could save Jenna. 1 girl, my girl. Or Dr. Ortiz could use it to make treatment for hundreds, 1,000, everyone in the quarantine zone. But that treatment takes 24 hours to synthesize. Jenna's got maybe 2 hours left, maybe less. So what do I do? Let my daughter die so CDC can spend a day making medicine for strangers? Watch her fingers turn completely to glass, then her arms, then her chest, then her heart, while I sit in some lab in Lubbock donating blood for people I've never met. The monitor alarms. Jenna's O2 sat is dropping. 64. 62. She's crashing. Someone shouts. More doctors rush in. They're adjusting the ventilator, pushing medications, doing everything they can, but I can see in their faces it's not working. The transfusion's not working. I gave her everything and it's not enough. 60%. 58. Diane's voice behind me. What's happening? She got in somehow. Past the quarantine, past the guards. She's here and she's seeing what I'm seeing. Our daughter dying, monitors screaming, doctors working frantically, and nothing helping. You said you could save her. Diane's grabbing my arm. You said you had antibodies. You said. I tried. You tried. She's crying, screaming. That's all you ever do is try. You tried to remember custody schedules. You tried to fix the water. You tried to save her. And she's still dying. 56%. The crystallization is spreading up Jenna's arms. I can see it through her skin, red veins turning dark, hardening, becoming stone. It's in her shoulders now, creeping toward her chest. Dr. Patel is pulling me away from the bed. Mr. Pritchett, you're contaminating the area. You need to. Everything goes sideways. I'm on the floor. My legs gave out. The crystallization is in my knees, my thighs. I can't feel my feet. Dr. Ortiz's voice on someone's radio. Did the transfusion work? Dr. Patel keys the radio. Negative. Patient's condition continues to deteriorate. 64% and falling. What about Pritchett? Symptomatic. Advanced crystallization. Unconscious. I'm not unconscious. I'm right here, but I can't move, can't speak. My tongue feels thick. Wrong. Through blurry vision, I see Diane at Jenna's bedside, holding her daughter's crystallizing hand, singing something, a lullaby from when Jenna was little. The monitor says 54%. My phone is buzzing in my pocket. Someone calling. Probably Dr. Ortiz. Probably telling me I killed 1,000 people for nothing. That the antibodies failed. That I should have gone to Lubbock and let them synthesize treatment and trusted that Jenna could hold on. But I didn't trust that. Couldn't. So I chose her. And now we're both dying, and the synthesized treatment will still take 24 hours, and by then everyone in this hospital will be crystallized statues in ICU beds. The monitor says 52%. I close my eyes. When I open them, I don't know how much time has passed. Minutes. Hours. The ICU is darker. Quieter. Most of the alarms have stopped. I'm still on the floor. The crystallization has spread to my ribs. I can feel my chest hardening. Every breath takes effort. Every heartbeat feels like it's pumping sand through stone pipes. Diane's still at Jenna's bedside, still holding her hand, still singing, but quieter now, like she knows it's almost over. I try to move. Can't. My body's locked in place, crystallizing from the inside out. In a few hours, maybe less, I'll be a sculpture, red-tinted glass in the shape of a man who chose wrong. The monitor shows 48%. Dr. Patel appears above me. She's crying behind her mask. I'm sorry, she says. We tried everything. That's what Diane said. All I ever do is try. The lights flicker. Once, twice, then they go out. Emergency lighting kicks in. Battery backup. Dim red glow from the exit signs. Someone's shouting in the hallway. Main power's down. Generators failing. We're losing the ventilators. The ventilators. Jenna's ventilator. The machine that's breathing for her is going to stop. I try to scream, to move, to do something, but my body's stone and my voice is dust. And all I can do is lie here and watch the emergency lights fade and listen to Diane's lullaby and wait for the silence. The emergency lights fade. Then they flicker. Then they stabilize. Backup generator. Hospital's got a backup generator. Kicks in 8 minutes after main power fails. 8 minutes of Jenna breathing on battery backup, on borrowed time, on luck. I'm still on the floor, still crystallizing. My chest is stone. My legs are stone. I can't move, but I can hear. Diane's still singing. That lullaby, over and over. Her voice cracking. Someone's running in the hallway, shouting. Treatment's here. CDC just landed. Treatment's here. 72 hours. That's how long it took. 3 days from when they drew my blood in Dalhart to when they synthesized enough antibodies to matter. 3 days of people dying while I lay here crystallizing next to my daughter. Footsteps. Multiple people. Dr. Patel's voice. Get him first. He's the source case. If we lose him, we can't make more. They're rolling me onto a gurney, sticking 4 lines in my arms. Both arms. Pushing medications. The synthesized antibodies made from my blood, mass-produced in some CDC lab in Lubbock, flowing back into me. Jenna, I try to say, comes out as dust. She's next, Dr. Patel says. 12 hours behind you in the queue. 12 hours. She might not have 12 hours. I try to move. Can't. The crystallization's too advanced. I'm locked in place. A statue that's still somehow alive. Everything goes dark. I wake up in a different room. White walls. Fluorescent lights. Medical equipment I don't recognize. My chest hurts. My arms hurt. Everything hurts. I try to move my fingers. They respond. Slowly. Stiffly. But they move. They're not glass anymore. A nurse notices I'm awake. "Mr. Pritchett, don't try to sit up. You've been unconscious for 6 days." 6 days. "Jenna, your daughter is alive." I'm trying to process that. Alive. Jenna's alive. The treatment worked. The synthesized antibodies made from my blood stopped the crystallization, reversed it, saved her. I need to see her soon. You're both still in isolation. The treatment, the synthesized antibodies from your blood, it worked. You were the first to receive it 72 hours after your collapse. Your daughter received it 12 hours after that. The crystallization stopped, started reversing. You're both going to recover fully. Fully. That word doesn't mean what it used to mean. How many? The nurse's face changes. How many what? How many people died while they made the treatment? She doesn't answer, just checks my 4-line and adjusts something on the monitor. How many? I don't have those numbers. Guess. She looks at me for a long moment. Dallam County had approximately 900 confirmed cases when quarantine was established. By the time treatment arrived, 4 days later, roughly 600 had died. Potter County, Amarillo had 350 cases. 220 died. 820 people dead. While CDC spent 4 days synthesizing treatment from my blood in a lab in Lubbock. Treatment that could have been ready faster if I'd gone with them immediately instead of driving to Amarillo to save one person. They would have died anyway, the nurse says quietly. Even if you'd gone to Lubbock, the synthesis process couldn't be rushed below 72 hours. Your daughter would have died in 12. You made the only choice you could. That's not true. I made the choice I wanted to make. The selfish choice. Save my daughter or save everyone else, and I chose my daughter. 820 people died because I chose wrong. Or maybe they died because CDC monitored dormant bacteria for 6 years without warning anyone. Maybe they died because drought dropped the aquifer fast enough to expose deposits that should have stayed buried. Maybe they died because I'm just one man who couldn't solve problems that require governments and scientists and infrastructure that doesn't exist. I don't know. I don't know which is true. Both feel true. When can I see Jenna? Tomorrow, probably. She's awake, stable, asking for you. Asking for me, the father who let 800 people die to keep her alive. The nurse leaves. I'm alone with the monitors beeping and the 4 dripping and my fingers that were glass 6 days ago flexing stiffly under white sheets. I look at my hands. The crystallization reversed, but it left marks. My fingers are scarred, thin white lines where the silica fractured the tissue during formation. The veins in my wrists are visible through the skin, darker than they should be. Red dark, like the sediment never completely left. Dr. Ortiz visits that afternoon. She looks worse than I feel. Exhausted, older. "Mr. Pritchett, I'm glad you're recovering." 820. I know. You told me I'd be condemning them if I went to Amarillo. You were right. She sits in the chair next to my bed. I was wrong. The synthesis time was fixed. We couldn't have made treatment faster even with immediate access to your blood. The people who died in those 4 days, they were already past the point of viability. Even with treatment, survival rates for advanced crystallization are less than 15%. So they were dead anyway. Most of them, yes. But not all of them. She doesn't answer. How many could have been saved if I'd gone to Lubbock immediately? If I'd given you my blood right then instead of wasting 12 hours driving to Amarillo? I don't know. Maybe 50, maybe 100. The data's incomplete. 50 to 100 people. Dead because I spent 12 hours proving to myself that I tried to save Jenna. Dead because I couldn't accept that she might die while I was sitting in a lab 200 miles away. Your daughter's alive, Dr. Ortiz says. That matters. Does it? Does one life matter more than 100? Ask any parent that question. You'll get the same answer you gave. I'm looking at the ceiling, at the fluorescent lights, at anything except her face. The bacteria's contained? Yes. Quarantine lifted yesterday. The synthesized treatment is being mass-produced. We're establishing monitoring protocols for other aquifers showing similar dormant deposits. Early warning systems, evacuation procedures. This won't happen again. This won't happen again. That's what they always say after the disaster, after the body count, after someone like me makes a choice that kills 100 people to save one. When can I leave? Another week, maybe 2. The crystallization reversal process is delicate. We need to monitor for complications. 2 weeks of lying in this bed. 2 weeks of counting the people who died. 2 weeks of waiting to see Jenna and figuring out what I'm supposed to say to her. You're alive because 820 people are dead. You're alive because I chose you over them. You're alive because I'm selfish and desperate and I couldn't let you go. Dr. Ortiz stands. Your daughter doesn't need to know the numbers. She doesn't need to carry that weight. Someone has to carry it. You didn't cause this. The bacteria did. The drought did. The CDC's failure to issue warnings did. You were just... I was the one person who could have made a difference, and I chose wrong. She doesn't argue, just leaves. The door closes and I'm alone again with the monitors and the 4 and the white scars on my fingers that look like cracks in glass. They let me see Jenna the next day. She's in a room down the hall. Similar setup, monitors for lines, isolation protocols. But she's sitting up, awake. Her hair's different, shorter, they must have cut it. And she's pale, but she's alive. Her hands are scarred like mine. White lines across her fingers where the crystallization was worst. Her right hand, the one that was almost completely glass when I collapsed, has more scars. They run up her palm to her wrist. Permanent marks from the bacteria that tried to turn her into a statue. Dad. She's crying. I'm crying. We're not supposed to touch isolation protocols, but I don't care. I'm holding her and she's holding me and we're both crying because we're alive and that should feel like victory, but it doesn't. They told me what you did, she says. They told me you drove through the quarantine, that you gave me your blood, that you almost died. You're my daughter. Of course I did. Mom says 800 people died. She says if you'd helped CDC make the medicine faster, some of them could have been saved. Diane said that. Of course Diane said that, because it's true. Your mom's right. But I'd be dead. If you'd done that, I'd be dead. I know. She's looking at her scarred hands, at the white lines that'll never fade. Was I worth it? 800 people for one person. I should lie. Tell her yes. Tell her she's worth anything, everything, that I'd make the same choice again. That's what fathers are supposed to say. But I can't. I don't know, Jenna. I don't know if anyone's worth that. She's crying harder now. Then why did you do it? Because I couldn't let you die. Even if I should have. Even if it was wrong. I couldn't. We sit there for a long time, not talking, just existing in the same space while the monitors beep and the hospital runs around us, and somewhere outside this room the world keeps spinning like nothing happened. Diane visits twice, doesn't speak to me, just sits with Jenna, holds her hand, looks at me like I'm something she used to know and doesn't anymore. The custody arrangement is suspended indefinitely. Too much trauma, too much recovery needed. Jenna stays with Diane. I get supervised visits once a month. The lawyer says it's temporary, but we both know it's not. They discharge me after 18 days. I'm functional. The crystallization reversed fully. No permanent organ damage. Just the scars on my hands and the red dark veins visible through my skin and the cough I get sometimes when the air is dusty. I don't go back to Dalhart. Can't. The town's still there. Population reduced by 68%, but still there. But I can't work the ranches where I breathe the bacteria. Can't maintain irrigation systems pumping from the aquifer that tried to kill us. Can't drive past Bruce's field where this started. Bruce died. Day 3 of the quarantine. His wife found him in the barn, crystallized from the waist down. They left him there for 2 days before the treatment arrived. Too late. He became a statue in his own equipment barn. I get a job in Lubbock. Water treatment facility. City municipal system, not ranch wells. Different water source. Different aquifer. I test every sample for silica content even though it's not in my job description. Check and double check and check again. The Toro 640 controller that started this, the one throwing false codes at Bruce's ranch, nobody ever figured out what was wrong with it. Probably nothing. Probably it was reading the data correctly and I just didn't want to believe what it was telling me. The equipment's never the problem. The equipment just tells you what's there. Jenna's in therapy. Diane says she's doing better, eating more, sleeping through the night sometimes. But she won't drink tap water, won't go outside when it's dusty, wears gloves to hide the scars on her hands. She's alive. I tell myself that when I can't sleep, when I'm lying in my apartment in Lubbock counting the people who died, when I'm thinking about the choice I made and the 100 people who could have been saved if I'd chosen different. She's alive. It doesn't help as much as it should. I see her once a month. Supervised visits at a neutral location. We don't talk about the quarantine. Don't talk about the bacteria. Don't talk about the 820 people. We talk about school, about volleyball. She quit the team but might rejoin next year. About her friends, some of them died, some survived, nobody talks about it. About normal things, safe things, things that don't require us to calculate the value of one life against hundreds. Last visit, she showed me her hands. The scars have faded a little. Not much. They'll always be there. Permanent proof that she almost became something that wasn't human anymore. Do you still think about it? She asked. Every day. Do you wish you'd made a different choice? I should say no. Should tell her she's worth anything, everything, that I'd do it again without hesitation. But I can't lie to her. Not about this. I don't know. I don't know if I made the right choice or the wrong choice. I just know it's the only choice I could make. She nodded, didn't cry, just looked at her scarred hands and nodded. We sat there for the rest of the visit, not talking, just existing in the same space while the world outside kept spinning like nothing happened. Like 820 people didn't die. Like a father didn't choose one life over hundreds. Like the bacteria isn't still down there, dormant in aquifers across the panhandle, waiting for the next drought to expose it. They've installed monitoring systems, early warning protocols, evacuation procedures. Dr. Ortiz promised this won't happen again. But droughts keep getting worse. The water table keeps dropping. And somewhere under Texas, in bedrock that hasn't seen air in 12,000 years, more bacteria is waiting. I test every water sample that crosses my desk. Check for silica content, for unusual mineral deposits, for any sign that it's starting again. So far, everything's clean. So far. But I keep checking, every sample, every day, because that's all I can do now. Test the water and wait for Jenna's monthly visits and count the 820 people who died because I chose wrong. Or chose right. I still don't know which. I don't think I ever will.